Hi, this is Runa, and you're listening to the Changemakers podcast, where we share tips, insight, tools, and stories from other changemakers designed to motivate you to become the change you want to see in your world. Make sure you join our Changemakers community at runamagnus.com/podcast. And now, this is your time to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Diana Tapia, who is the founder and CEO of the worldwide Immigrants Association, an online community with a mission of empowering and guiding immigrants around the world who are looking to succeed in business, professionally, and personally in their new home. The immigrant box. If that isn't a box that all of us have we can associate with, and there's something that pops up in our mind when you think about it. Immigrants. I had to get her on one of our episodes to share her vision, to share her story, and to share how the immigrant box can be actually quite empowering and transformative box. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Diana Tapia. Dear listeners, have you placed another person into the immigrant box, or have you placed yourself into the immigrant box? Chances are, if immigrants have been on your way, either you've been there yourself or you met someone down the road that has immigrated into another area, and chances are you place them into a box. And we can see in the world that we are living in today, that box is not always serving everyone as it should be. Therefore, I am so delighted to have our guest today, Diana Tapia, as a guest. She's a passionate woman. You're going to be meeting her. She's about the Worldwide Immigrants Association. And Diana, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much, Runa. Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited for this episode and to learn more about you, Diana. I just want to drill directly into my first question. Why Worldwide Immigrants Association, and why Diana?
Yeah, I don't know why it was Diana, but it did have to happen one day. I believe, I've been an immigrant for a little bit more than 8 years. And during all this time, I've seen a lot of non-governmental organizations and a lot of associations helping immigrants around the world. But I believe that the help that is being provided it's quite not efficient or enough for us immigrants. When I arrived here, I saw a lot of people helping immigrants, like creating the CVs or, preparing for the job interview and integrating to the society. But what about the emotions? What about the feelings? What about the hesitations, the tribulations, the obstacles that we find every day at every time? And even, for example, things so normal that are for you to take a bus to go to your office or your school. Things like that are not evident for us. And that simple thing can make us feel super insecure and overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. The bus schedule, the times for the supermarket, at what time it closes, or things, little things. So in all the people that I found in my way, my own experiences, my own things and feelings in all my steps during this journey, mm-hmm. I said, there should be a place where we could all reunite and we could all, support each other. But not only knowing how to get a job or how to get money, to start producing for our countries, but for us to feel, empowered, successful, guided, supported. So this is why Worldwide Immigrants Association was born.
It's interesting, Diana, when you're saying this. What's coming up for me is, when you basically just change, let's just say you change you move from one house, an apartment to another one, maybe in another part of your city or your town or in your country, doesn't really have to be outside of your country.
Mm-mm.
You do go through these same things, don't you? Knowing about how does this community that I now live in, how does that work? How do I deal with these things?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe would you say that a big part of this challenge is we create that in our heads?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about adaptability and how we face change. I've discovered that as well with my own experiences, but also when I decided to create Worldwide Immigrants Association, I said to myself, like, I need to get ready and be prepared. It's not only that I have the willingness to help my community, but I also knew that I need to acquire more knowledge about it. So this is why I got certified as a personal and professional coach at University of Concordia here in Canada. And there I saw that all the things that we've been going through and that we feel like are obstacles in our lives and that are creating the most stress and overwhelm are those which are showing changes in our lives. So as you're saying, like when you're moving from an apartment to a house, all the stress that you have, packaging everything in your boxes and choosing what to take with you, what are you going to sell, what are you going to give away, and all those things. And imagine that in this new area or neighborhood that you're going to live, they are speaking in another language. And there are other things. So it grows and grows. And of course, all these obstacles and all these things that we feel are created by our minds, as well as, I know that you're going to touch base with this, but as well as the name that we are going to be labeled with, being immigrant.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that makes me want to go to your story. How did you become an immigrant in Canada?
Oh, well, it was my personal choice. I came to study French in 2006. I stood here for 6 months and I loved it so much. Then I went back to Mexico. I am a lawyer. I studied law in Mexico and I was a lawyer in that moment. And I was I was working at the Supreme Court. But I started feeling like I needed to come back to Canada. And I was feeling homesick of Canada. So long story short, I started my immigration process. And 4 years later, on April 1st, 2011, I was arriving here with no friends or family or whatsoever. Of course, I didn't have a job. But this is something that I was really feeling the need of doing. And I've been here, like, I know that this doesn't happen to everybody, but this happened to me. And it was like more like the country that I was born at wasn't the right place, that I needed to be here. And that was it.
Yeah, exactly. Well done. That sounds like you needed to step into your courage to really do this and follow what you felt was really your calling. It sounds like it was your calling to move over to Canada.
Yeah.
And on that level, and you being your profession, being a lawyer, and all of this, there's a lot of legal thing around becoming an immigrant. Before we go into that part of the legal thing, I'm really curious, Diana. When do you see it is being an immigrant, whether you put yourself into the box, I'm an immigrant, or you feel that someone else is putting you into that box? When is it a good box in your view? And when is it we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly boxes. So when would you see that particular box turn from being a good one to a bad one and even an ugly one?
Okay. Well, I feel super proud of calling myself an immigrant. Yeah. I believe there is as you were saying, there's courage in this word. Not everybody is able or feels sure of themselves to actually literally abandoning everything at their country and starting a new life in another one. So I really love my label and my box of immigrant.
Mhm.
The only thing is that the way that I perceive it is not the way that others perceive it. So my pride of being an immigrant is not, it's not as, I don't know. It's like when I say I'm a lawyer, not everybody loves a lawyer, you know,
Yeah.
everybody, there are people who say lawyers are cheaters or they take
Yeah.
advantage of people. So it's more or less the same thing.
So being an immigrant has given you, the good part for you has been, it's been giving you a lot of pride. Yes, I did this.
Yeah, because imagine, like, of course, a lot of people speak other languages because it's their passion.
Yeah.
Mine as well. I love languages, but not everybody is able to do that. So in the immigrant side, like our advantages are, most of the immigrants, we speak more than 2 languages, or at least 2. We know how to be resilient, how to be courageous, how to persevere, how to figure out things. You know what? I've discovered that only in these kind of cases, which are super extreme, where you are taking off that suit that you had before when you were at your country and you put on another suit, you actually find all the good things and how great you can be as a human being.
Wow. And that, when you're saying that, isn't that really about our mindset?
It is, but it is not. It is not as easy to find it. I believe, it's only the circumstances which push us every time to go further and go further. So it's not that I wish it could happen like that. That before we could move into another country, we had all this preparation in our mindset and everything is good and I know that I have it and I'm visualizing it. No, it doesn't happen like that. We go through a lot of crisis.
Yeah. I can just imagine that. Hearing you talk, it reminds me of my year as a teenager, as a foreign exchange student in the United States. And when the organization AFS, the organization that I went through, was training us and teaching us and preparing us for a year abroad, living with a host family and a totally different culture and all of that. One of the things that always sticks with me has been since that day was that one sentence, and that was, there is no right culture or wrong culture. It's just culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And and that totally shifted my mindset and has from that day been basically the cornerstone of everything that I've been doing with Normal Boxes, with basically my life. It's been really around that internationalism of saying how can we be world citizens? How can we understand each other and go less from judgmental thing to more understanding and seek to understand and not to judge, because really it's just a box.
It is. And now that you're saying that about culture and it's just culture, I think, for example, I love that you never pronounced the word tolerance, because I believe that there's a very negative charge in that word. It is not about tolerating each other. It's, as you're saying, accepting and knowing that there are many cultures, but it's just culture. Culture is just that word. And in this case, for example, us immigrants as well are categorized in different boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the Mexicans and the
the Mexicans, or the legal or the illegal or the investors or the expats, you know, because that word expat is so I don't know. I believe that that's a very nice way to say immigrant without having all the problems.
It's another box in the same family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the work that you've been doing with the Worldwide Immigrants Association, can you share with us what is your like day-to-day, everyday work in the association? What do you do, and why should people contact you?
Well, the Worldwide Immigrants Association is an online platform for immigrants around the world, trying to actually take them out of their different boxes and reunite them in just one place, where we can at least know and recognize each other for our value, our strength, our who we really are. I really started this because, first of all, I saw that there was a need, or at least I needed it for myself. but also to show the world that we are not those kind of immigrants who are destroyed, who are arriving to another country to take off other things to others, that we are actually adding, that we are actually investors in the new country that we are starting to live in, that we are bringing a lot of productivity and growth economically and culturally as well, as you were saying. So this platform was made for that, and it is online because I wish I would be able to be everywhere in the world, but at least internet gives us this access. So it is online for everybody who speaks English, which is one of the main languages that we immigrants are required to speak when we move into another country, where at least we will find information and workshops and resources and this support that I believe we were needing. In my everyday, of course, I work one-on-one with my clients to check in with those shocks that we were talking about before, in this transition and this uncomfortability of not knowing where to go or what to do, or I'm not even finding myself here because everything's so different. Because the shock is big and it happens to everybody, even if you are really prepared and you prepared yourself for many years to go to another country, there's going to be a shock. So I also work with my clients in that area, and I've been super happy and lucky to find other like-minded people and professionals who are immigrants as well, who are experts in different areas, who also share wonderful master classes and workshop with us inside the community. So I see the Worldwide Immigrants Association growing, where we as immigrants can welcome new immigrants in their own new process in their lives, with experienced immigrants who are mentoring them or taking them on their arms to support them and to show them the way.
That is
just
so
to make it easier,
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I see we're coming to the end of this episode. One last question, or actually two questions for you, Diana. I can hear you're passionate for this, for helping people immigrating and living a prosperous life. What is the change that you like to see in your world today? And that's my first question. And second question, and what is the role that you are ready to step in full force to see that change become a reality?
Wow, those are beautiful questions. Well, the first one is, of course, like as I was saying, I want to create conscious in the world that people who decide to move into another country or have to move to another country are not those people who many others have categorized in the bad box, in the box of the bad people, that we are strong, capable, etc. I already named the qualities. And well, my mission there is actually, I believe I'm already in it, because creating the Worldwide Immigrants Association, I know that this can go I wish it could go extremely big and grow so much more, where we could actually see and I don't know, from the Worldwide Immigrants Association, then take it out and then we all to get reunited as human beings, because we are only that. We are humans, and borders, of course, are needed sometimes, but not borders in our hearts, in our spirit, in our souls. Those borders are useless. So this is what I'm trying to do. My mission, of course, I'm starting to figure it out, because it wasn't, if you have asked me these questions, or if I was going to be the founder of the Worldwide Immigrants Association 2.5 years ago, I would tell you, I don't know. I don't even know. I have a job, I'm very busy.
Yeah, exactly.
But it happened. And now I'm really happy and lucky and proud. And I feel super humble of having taken this position in my life, where I want to represent my community.
That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Diana, thank you for being the change that you want to see in the world. And for our audience, please check the show notes where you can get a direct information how to connect with Diana, how to know more about the Worldwide Immigrant Association, etc., and how you can also understand that you are creating your own limitations, your own borders.
Yeah.
If you can create it, you can also delete it. That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Rona.
Was this podcast of value for you? I sure hope so. If so, feel free to share the love and give us your generous review on iTunes or Stitcher. And remember that you can always go to ronamagnus.com to find out more about the Changemakers and how we can help you drive the change you want to see in your world.